Okay, today we're going to look at writing an equation from a graph. So we're going to write equations looking at the independent and dependent variables. Again, we're trying to find a relationship or a pattern, quote unquote, between your input and your output, your x and your y. Again, here we are given different variables. So instead of the x-axis in this example, we're given x is h for the number of hours, whereas the y-axis is d, is the distance. So the best way to do this is strategy is to make a function table. Okay, you don't have to make it elaborate. It can be short and sweet and to the point. So if we look at this one here, if I say write an equation to represent the number of hours, h, to the distance traveled, d. So I look at a couple of points. Obviously here it is at 0, 0. So if I'm at 0, 0, I'm looking to see then my x and my y. Well, this is my h and this is my d, right? H instead of x and d instead of y. So first one is 0, 0. Look at the next one. That's not going to tell me anything. So I'm at the ordered pair 1, 8, and then 2, 16. And then if you actually continued up the pattern, I should be at 3, 24. Okay, so what is the relationship that you see? How do I go from my x to my y? So 1 to 8, 2 to 16, 3 to 24. I go with my x, which is really my h. I'm multiplying by 8, and I get my y, which is really my d. So my equation is d equals 8h, 8 times the number of hours. So therefore, how far would you go if you went 7 hours? So if I continue on this pattern, well, 7 hours is h, right? So if I tell you h is 7, plug it into the equation. 7 times 8 is 56. Sometimes I might tell you what d is, so just be careful going in the inverse part there. Okay, let's look at this one, just another one here. Again, I have different variables for x and y axis. So again, another strategy is to do a function table. So my x is my f, and my g is my y. So if you want to do x and y and kind of have that on the side, then you should be good to go. So let's see the relationship. So we're at 0, 0. So it is proportional. It starts at 0, 0, goes through the origin. I have 1, then 40, then 2, then 80, and then 3, then 120. So hopefully you can see a pattern here. So how do I go from my f to my g? What is the relationship between the number of filters used and the number of gallons? If you say that you are taking your f and you're multiplying by 40 to get your g, you are correct. Or you can write g equals 40f. This is the one I prefer you to write there. Okay, remember again, this is my x, plug in to get my y. Now, for this one, if I used 400 gallons of water, how many filters would I go through? Again, I'm using g equals 40f, but I'm telling you if I use 400 gallons, g is 400 this time. So I'm actually trying to figure out the input now. So you can solve like an equation, 400 equals 40 times something. Divide by 40, divide by 40. This is one way to do it. You can just divide if you know that's the case. Got out a set of zeros, and if you got the answer is 10 filters, you are correct. Because 10 times 40 is 400. Okay, or you can look at the graph. If you continue on, you should be able to figure it out. Okay, so again, if I'm to look at something like this here, again, we're going through where there's a decimal and there's a decimal and also a fraction. So just be able to understand what is 6 3/4. That would be 6.75. So you would be able to use that for this equation. Same concept when you write the equation going on. I'm not going to do another example there. Should be good with that. Now, this time, what if I don't have a graph? I just already have a function table. Okay, so boxes of cereal and the relationship between that and the cost. So I'm trying to figure out how I go from here to here, here to here, here to here. Here's a hint. Find the unit rate. Figure out what one box costs. How do we do that? Oh, Miss Edwards, you divide. Yes, you do. So this is X and this is Y. So if you're confused, that's the same idea. So if I take my money, 11, and cut it in half, that should be my unit rate. That should give me the same answer as 1650 divided by 3, and it should be the same as 22 divided by 4. So how much am I paying for 1? You would just divide. What's half of 11? Well, if you don't know that, most of you should know that mentally. That's 5. Add a decimal, raise it up, add a 0. That's another 5. 5.5, because this will be a 10, and then this will be a 10. So it is $5.50 for one box of cereal. That would be the same case if you divided this and you divided this. These would all be proportional. Okay, so how do I go from my X to my Y? So I'm going from my B times 5.5 or 5.50 is my C. So C equals 5.5 B, and again, this is the same as Y equals 5.5 X. So answer here, find the unit rate. Figure out what is it going up by dividing. You could have done that actually technically for a lot of these. Same thing here. If I was to find this, again, strategy is find the unit rate. I want to know the relationship between the total cost and the number of bagels. So let's figure out what one bagel costs, and then I'm good. So if I take $3.50 for 2 bagels, let's figure out, again, how I'm going from here to here, here to here. So I'm going from B to get my T. So T equals something B. So divide that. How much is it for one bagel? Well, 3.5 divided by 2, that's 1. 15 point, that's a 7. 14, 0, or 1, add a 0, bring it down, and that's 5. So it'd be 1.75 per bagel. So it's $1.75 a bagel. There you go. So that kind of brings it back to when we did proportions and ratios and rates and things like that. Okay, now this is called a dual or a double function table. So this one was on a merit test in the past. So let's look at this one here. Function table shows the relationship between the number of CDs purchased C and the cost at T at each store. Okay, so we have 2 different stores going on. The equation is given for Walmart. So we know Walmart is, to get my total cost, it's 20 times C. So let's fill that in. So I'm telling you that $20 times C. So each CD is $20. So times 20, times 20, times 20, times 20. So this is 20, 40, 120, 200. Okay? So again, I'm using the rule for Walmart, but this is only for Walmart. Okay, however, they don't tell me the information for Target. So I want to figure out what the equation is for Target. Well, if I look at one CD is $12.50, I don't have to divide. I already know what the unit rate is. So I'm paying $12.50 for one CD. So how am I going from 1 to 2, 12.5, and from 2 to 25? Therefore, from 10 to 125, I am multiplying by 12.5. Multiplying by 12.5, multiplying by 12.5. So the rule here is, I take my C, I multiply by $12.50, and I get my total cost at Target. So T equals 12.5. C is the pretty way to write that. Then I will ask you, what is that missing information? So what is the cost of 6 CDs at Target? All you do again, I'm telling you, C is 6, so you just plug it into your equation. So you just do 12.5 times 6, 30, 15, 6, 7. Decimal over, $75. There you go. So again, following a rule, reading it, filling it out. Okay, if you need another example, I have one here. Same concept, same idea as well. If you need help, I will go over another one later. So here, if you want to pause it, you can. You can skip it, go on. But basically here, same idea, relationship between hours worked at Chipotle versus Panera. And so for Chipotle, I know it's $9.50 per hour. So again, how do I go from here to here, here to here, here to here, here to here? I would do times 9.5. So 2 hours at Chipotle would be not $18, it'd be $19. Okay, then 3 would be 9.5 more, and so on and so forth. So you would fill that out here. But if I want to figure out what the equation is for Panera, I'm going 2 hours, I made 18. 3 hours, I made 27. 10 hours, I made 90. What's the rule? Again, just like we did before, find the unit rate. What am I getting paid per hour? Well, if I'm making $18 for 2 hours, what am I making for 1 hour? That's 9. So the equation then for this is times 9 times 9 times 9, which would be 54, times 9, which is 90. So the equation is take my hours, multiply by 9, and that is what I earned, T at Panera, or T equals 9H. Okay. So same idea, you could fill in the other things if you wanted to. But again, this would be $95 because all you have to do is move the decimal over. Actually from here to here is times 3. So you actually could do 19 times 3. 27, 57, so this would have been 57, and then this one is 9.5 more, so that would be 28.5. I think I'm close. I think I'm right. Okay. So again, some tricks there. So then if you were to then look at some of these, I'm kind of putting them together, where maybe I have you write an equation. I might not give you a chart. I might not give you a graph. All I'm asking you to do is write the equation. You guys will be fine with this. So look for those keywords again. Drama Club is holding a bake sale. They are charging $5 for each pie they sell. Write an equation to find the total cost T earned for selling pea pies. So they're charging $5 for each pie they sell. P is for pies, so P, each pie is their T. So the total cost is $5 for each pie. Or you could say T equals 5P. Okay, same idea here. I asked you to write the equation. A mouse can travel 8 miles per hour. Write an equation to find the distance, the total distance D. So D equals in H hours, H is here, per hours. H, 8, miles per hour. And then I could ask questions based on that. And then sometimes you just have to put it all together, where you would write the equation, then plug it in, and then graph it. Again, this is a multi-step thing. Same thing, write an equation, plug it in, graph it. I don't think there's anything else. Another practice example. And then, again, you should be able to answer this with no issues. Okay? All right, that's it for today. This will actually help you with today's and the next assignment. So on Wednesday. Wednesday's assignment is very easy. Nope, that is not stop it. All right, whatever. All right, stop the recording. Stop it. Right. Word says stop.